from my perspective. So I work with energy, and I work with trauma, and I work with emotions, and I'm an alternative therapist, and I have quite a few different views on what causes addiction. But one of the things that pops out at me and just makes sense is a reinforcement pattern from childhood called the intermittent reinforcement pattern. So this is when you had a parent that you couldn't predict what they were going to do next, so an unpredictable parent. And there was a bunch of scientists who did some experiments on rats, and they did 3 tests for the rats. So the first one was they provided a lever, and they made it really predictable that when the rats pushed the lever, they got a pellet. So they monitored the rats while this was happening, and they were as happy as Larry. Every time they pushed the lever, they got a pellet. So they wondered what would happen if they take the pellet away. So the rats pushed the lever, couldn't get the pellet, and then pushed the lever again, couldn't get the pellet. In the end, they just gave up, and they seemed okay. They were not too bothered. So when it was predictable and there was a pellet, and when it was predictable and there wasn't a pellet, there wasn't really much difference between those 2 sets of circumstances. So then they wondered what would happen if we sometimes give them the pellet when they push the lever, but sometimes not. So they made it unpredictable and they made it random. Guess what happened to the rats when they didn't know if they were going to get the pellet or not? So sometimes it was there, sometimes it was not. Mainly not, actually. They couldn't handle it at all. They basically developed an addiction to pushing the lever, pushing the lever, pushing the lever. They went mad. So now think again about your childhood. Were you in a situation, particularly from early childhood, where the love was there, and then the love wasn't there? And then mainly the love wasn't there. And then each time you went looking, the love wasn't really there. But occasionally you got lucky and the love was there. Okay, so maybe your unpredictable parent sometimes showed love, but you never knew when it was coming. Now that is very similar in energy to when someone's like addicted to the fruit machines or whatever. They're putting the money in, they want to win the jackpot. You know, maybe one time they do win the jackpot, and then after they've won the jackpot, they, for the rest of their life, are putting money in trying to win the jackpot again. And then maybe most of the time they don't win anything. And then occasionally they might win like $5. That's the same thing. That craving. I need. Tune into that feeling in your body, that feeling of craving. So that feeling that you have when you can't have a cigarette when you want one, or you can't have a drink when you want one, you know, whatever your addiction is. I think it's been set up by the intermittent reinforcement pattern in childhood. So if you have an addiction, this might be a new way to look at it. So as an alternative practitioner, what I would recommend is finding somewhere quiet, tuning into the feeling of craving. That very specific feeling. Is mum going to love me? Is dad going to love me? But then more often than not, it wasn't there. So that feeling, where is it? Is it in your heart? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your shoulders? Is it like a tightness in your body? I want you to tap on the center of your chest to bring the cortisol down. That will also help you tune into your body. It will help you surface subconscious information. It will help you have realizations. It will help you join the dots and make connections. Let memories come. Let memories come from the physical sensation. So the physical sensation is a message from your body. Look at this. Go to those memories and then feel compassion for that version of you, that child version of you that couldn't get the love they needed, and they never knew when it was going to be there. The more you allow that feeling to be there in your body, to just express itself and for you to witness it, the less you will have that addiction.